Namaste, friends. It's great to have you. Today is going to be a vigorous vinyasa sequence. We're going to be efficiently and effectively warming up the body. We're going to really be emphasizing our core to support our practice, but also to support our alignment. And this is how we're going to build up not just the heat, but also strength deep from within. So if you've got a yoga mat, I'll invite you to grab it to get started. I'll meet you there. So we'll begin with our sun salutations, coming towards the front edge of our mat, Surya Namaskar A. We'll inhale to draw the arms up and overhead, warming up with our sun salutation A. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale to our half lift. Your hands can stay on the floor or warming up slowly. Exhale. We can use the knees if you need to, even for the intermediate advanced yogi. And now we'll realign the spine here before we move into chaturanga. So often when we come into our plank position, we disengage the core and hold ourselves up while hanging out in the joints. And instead, we're going to cultivate full awareness of every joint of the spine and all the muscles that live along it. We'll take one more inhale breath here. And as we exhale, using the knees if you need to, we'll lower down chaturanga. You can float above the floor or lowering all the way down, then lifting up into your back bend. Maybe you start gentle. Maybe you're ready for a deeper, and then we'll come back into downward dog. We're going to try to open up the back side of the legs, getting into the calves, lengthening through the neck and head, widening the shoulders apart. And yes, even in our downward dog, trying to cultivate awareness of the spine. And we're trying to create good posture. So we want a shape that's not creating any forward compression or backward bending. We're going to invite a lengthened spine, growing tall here. Now we're going to inhale forward into plank. And I'm actually going to move my feet back. Some folks might move their hands forward instead. And that's because in the style of yoga that I practice, we actually don't want the same distance from our plank to our downward dog. So in our phalakasana now, paying attention, are we losing the belly? We're going to draw it in. We're going to draw the glutes in too, firing up the Agni. That's the engine of our practice in our core, in our belly. For one more breath, inhaling and exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhaling, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. And exhaling, Adho Mukha Svanasana. And think of passing back through plank position as you lift up and back into downward facing dog. And here we get to realign the spine, calm the mind, and come back to the breath. Inhaling slowly and evenly in through the nose, and exhaling slowly and evenly out through the nose, adding on. Now we're going to come back into plank. So I move my feet back, balancing on the big toe knuckles of the feet, getting a nice stretch through the feet as well. Trying to engage the hands as they push into the floor, widening the shoulders away from the spine, lifting the neck and head up, but tucking the chin in. So we're stretching and lengthening and strengthening through the neck as well. We're going to draw the core in, and now we're going to fire it up a little bit more. We're going to lift the right foot off the ground. Draw the core in. Don't lose the core. Don't arch the back. We'll lower it down. Stay nice and engaged. Ready, second side. Left leg lifts. Don't arch in the lower back. Try to stay engaged in a plank position, and we'll lower down. We'll take a nice inhale here. Exhaling. Inhaling. And exhaling. 3 deep breaths here. And we're going to add on to that one more time, inhaling forward into plank position, really activating our core awareness here now. So now we're going to do a little bit more. We're going to try to bring the left or the right knee to the chin. So we're going to exhale and draw the chin in to meet the knee. And then we're going to inhale to extend back into plank position, and exhale. Now try to bring right knee to right elbow. Inhaling back into plank position. Now we're going to exhale, twisting. And we're going to try to really keep this foot off the floor and come back. And now for second side, we're going to do chin to knee, straight on, back into plank. Knee to elbow, back into plank. And for our twist, floating the foot. And then we'll take our vinyasa, or you can go right into downward facing dog. And if we need a little break on the wrist from here, a person could take a child's pose, or if you'd like to, we can come down onto our forearms and rest in our dolphin position. So your choice, child's pose or dolphin. We're staying in downward dog. And if you're in dolphin and you want to lift one leg up, we can. And lowering down and second side. And if you're in on your forearms, or if you're in your child's pose, we'll make our way back to our downward facing dog. We're gonna come forward, inhaling onto the balls of the feet. Exhaling as we bend through the knees, walking or floating the feet forward. Feet come up to meet the hands. We'll inhale to our half lift. Exhale to our forward fold, and we'll come up to standing, windmilling the arms up and overhead. And we'll exhale, Samastitihi. And before we come into our sun salutation B, we're gonna do a little bit of side body stretching here. So we can start with the feet wider apart if you need a little bit of stability, or drawing the feet closer together. We posteriorly tilt the tailbone, draw the core in. We'll do a nice side body stretch. So inhale both arms up. We'll let the right arm fall and we'll lean over towards the left. And we're really drawing down with the right hand to engage the obliques on the right side as we expand the obliques on the left side. And we need the shoulders stay in the girdle. Find our deep breath. Keep that posterior tilt. We can use the glutes to help keep it. And then we'll inhale to lift both arms overhead. And exhale, second side. Deep and sound breathing. And then we're gonna inhale up to center. We're gonna exhale, hands back behind us. We're gonna interlace the fingers, pull the shoulders and elbows back. Take a nice inhale here. Exhale, gentle forward fold. Pull the shoulders away from the lower back. And watch out for those shoulders creeping up towards the ears. We wanna keep all that space through the neck and head as we forward fold. And one more breath here. And then we're gonna inhale to lift up, and we're gonna get ready to come right into our next sun salutation, starting with chair now. The feet can be wide apart as a modification, or bringing them together. Let's posteriorly tilt the tailbone and find the core before we draw our arms up and overhead. Palms can touch or stay wide apart. Exhale, dive forward. Uttanasana, inhale, half lift. Ardha Uttanasana, exhale. You can float back or step back using the knees if you need to. And we'll inhale up into our upward facing dog or cobra. And exhale back to our downward facing dog. And now we're gonna inhale, right leg up and back. And we're gonna create these splits here. So we're pushing left heel down as right heel lifts. We can also take now that right hip up over the left. And draw your left hip in. Create that counter alignment. The right hip lifting up over left hip as it tucks in, and we'll re-square the hips, and we'll draw that thigh and knee up into the chest. And this is the core awareness, so you can lift on your fingertips if you need to, but draw that thigh and knee up into the chest to put that foot forward up in between the hands. And now we'll establish our foundation for warrior one, and inhale to rise up. Virabhadrasana A on our first side. Pulling right hip back, drawing left hip forward. We can gaze straight ahead. At the tip of the nose, the floor in front of us, or if we want to stretch the front side of the neck as we lift the gaze up, palms can be together, or as we develop the flexibility and strength in the shoulders, we can have them widening apart. One more breath here, and let's exhale and lower down. Framing that right foot. Now, if you want to, optional vinyasa, otherwise staying nice and firm through the core here, let's reestablish our plank. Deep and sound breathing. And then we'll inhale, right foot lifts. Exhale, right leg lowers. Inhale, second side. And lower. One more inhale, reestablish. Exhale, lower down, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhaling, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. And then drawing back through plank as we lift up and back into Adho Mukha Svanasana. And getting ready for our second side now. Inhaling, we'll draw left leg up, creating that split as the hips are square still. And then we'll lift left hip up over the right. As the right hip draws in, And then we're gonna re-square the hips and we're gonna try to intentionally lift. Now, if you can give yourself an assist by lifting onto your fingertips of one hand or both hands, but try to draw that thigh and knee up into the chest to place that foot forward up in between the hands. Then we can establish our foundation, rise on an inhalation to that warrior one on the second side. Pulling the front hip back, and this on our left side as the right hip comes forward. And I was trying to mirror, so I've got my right side actually first, but we'll take one more breath here and let's exhale to lower down. Come down, framing that left foot. We establish our foundation for plank. You can float the foot off the floor if you'd like to. A little more spice. Inhaling, we'll come right into downward dog. Exhaling. Inhaling onto the balls of the feet. Exhale as we bend through the knees. We'll walk or float the feet forward. Feet come up to meet the hands. We'll inhale to our half lift. Exhale to our forward fold, bending into the knees. Inhale, arms up, Utkatasana. Exhale, Samastitihi. Even and equal standing between the right and left side of the body. So we're gonna add on to that sun salutation, kind of intentionally doing one breath, one movement so that we're not in the poses as long. And this will also help us build heat, but we've got to try to take that core with us. So establishing our foundation here, strengthening in stillness in our mountain pose. We'll get ready to come into that sun salutation. Be once again, bending into the knees. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhaling. One breath, inhaling, right leg lifts, exhaling. Inhaling, exhaling. Vinyasa. Getting ready for second side. Inhaling, moving into that vinyasa on your own if you'd like here. Warrior one, single breath as we rise up. Exhale, lower down. Inhaling. Exhaling. Remember, we're going to take that core with us as we move the body and breathing deeply and calmly. And come back to downward dog, where we get to realign the spine, calm the mind, and come back to the breath. And now adding on to that, we're going to create our dancing warrior sequence. Inhaling, right leg lifts. Exhale, right foot forward up in between the hands. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, open warrior two. Take a nice inhale breath here. We're gonna exhale, drop the back hand down, flip the palm up, lean forward, keep the lunge as you exhale and draw back. One more inhale here, and exhale to release. We'll windmill the arms down to frame the foot. I pivot on the heel so I could step right back into plank or downward dog. Optional vinyasas if you need to modify. We're keeping them flowing so that we create that nice heat, and we keep that heat flowing now continuously through the body. Coming into our second side now, and I'll demo from this side. Inhaling, exhaling. Inhaling, warrior one. Exhaling, open, warrior two. We'll drop the back hand down. We'll flip the left palm up, take an inhale, keep the lunge, exhale, draw back. Staying here for a breath cycle. And then after the next inhale, we'll release. And we'll drop down to the hands and knees. We're gonna get ready for our side plank position, keeping our core emphasis here. We're gonna, and our constant breath and movement awareness, whether we hold a pose for a long time or single breath, single movement. But we're gonna ground down through our left hand and our left wrist as we move our left foot out to the side. And I'm gonna extend my right foot back in line with my left knee and wrist, and your hand can come to your hip or lift up. If you got full side plank, you could stay right here, lifting this leg up, or if we're gonna try for full side plank, we can extend both legs. We gotta bring the hips forward. That's gonna be the challenge. And then we gotta lift them up. And we're gonna try to find deep breaths here. Gaze can be at the floor, lifted. And then if you'd like to vinyasa in between sides, feel welcome to. Keep that heat within. Feeding that Agni in the belly to help us get our engine of our practice stable. And we'll go ahead and exhale to lower down and keep us going through the sequence here. So for our second side, now grounding down through right hand and right knee, I'm gonna move my right foot out to the side, extend left leg, and inhale, left arm up. You can always stay here, working on bringing the hips forward, but if we've got the alignment where we're able to posteriorly tilt the tailbone here, maybe we'll either lift this extended left leg or extend both legs. And you can tightrope walk the feet, or some folks like to stack their feet. And we try to stay nice and lifted here in the obliques by lifting the hips, bring the hips forward so we could draw the front of the core in too. Gaze can stay at the floor, middle path for one more breath, and then we'll release. Optional vinyasa. Cleansing breath now. And then let's inhale onto the balls of the feet. Exhale as we bend through the knees, walking or floating the feet forward. Feet come up to meet the hands. We'll inhale to our half lift. Exhale to a nice forward fold. Let's hold here for a couple of breaths. And then we'll inhale up to standing. And exhale, Namaste. Okay, and so warming up, we're gonna think about our core as the core of our being, the spine, and all the muscles that live along it. And then naturally, all the muscles that live along it layering out to the surface. So one interest, and then the unique systems of the core is really about how the hips and the shoulders relate to the spine. So in this next sequence, we're gonna be trying to activate our core while doing a balanced posture, and we're gonna see that one of the ways that we can ignite the core is through the outer hip muscles. So we're gonna be trying to find those together now as we come into our Utthita Hasta Padangusthasana, finding strength and stillness as we manifest our mountain pose. Then we're gonna shift the weight into our left foot as we lift the right heel up. And we're gonna break this down slowly so we can make sure we take all of our alignments with us. First is the posterior tilt of the tailbone. And as we do that, maybe you'll get light onto your pointed foot. So you can try to point and lift the heel now off the floor on that bottom foot. And now we have to draw this left hip in, and that's gonna lift this right hip up. And this is what's gonna allow you to float this knee up. So instead of coming out of alignment to try to meet the knee or the foot, instead, posteriorly tilt that tailbone, draw the core in, lift your left hip in, draw your right hip up, and that's gonna help you lift. And you're gonna lift as high as you can, stabilizing and strengthening through the standing balancing leg. So this is our core awareness here. If you'd like to take it a second stage, then maybe we can clasp the foot, be it Ashtanga yoga style with the peace fingers on the inside of the big toe, and we try to straighten out the leg any amount without losing this emphasis here that we just talked about. So trying to draw that in for one more breath. It's okay if we're still holding here. I'm sure you feel it too. We'll go ahead and release the foot, and if anyone wants to try this next one here, extending the leg without the hand hold, and then we'll draw it in and release. And we'll walk that out. So getting ready for our second side. Cultivating that calm breath, strengthening in stillness, establishing our foundation, shifting the weight into right foot, posteriorly tilting the tailbone as we draw that right hip in and lift the left hip up, coming as light as we can onto those toes so that then we can lift the knee up as high as we can. You can stay right here, just cultivating the lift and the lift here. Or if you'd like to try more, maybe grabbing the foot and seeing if we can extend the leg. And if we can extend the leg, then we gotta keep extending the spine as well as the standing balancing leg. And then if you wanna try to come out, maybe you'll bend the knee, release, and if you want to try to extend here, draw the core in, draw in through the hips, and we'll go ahead and release, and we'll walk that out. If you'd like to bang the gong, we can widen the feet apart here. My ankles love that. And we can spiral through the arms here. All right, a lot of heat in this little sequence here. So we're gonna keep that up, and as we come back towards our sun salutation, so coming towards the front edge of our mat, we're gonna add on to that dancing warrior sequence, and I think we're gonna have an opportunity to do a arm balance as well to deepen the core. So maybe to start, we're actually gonna widen the feet apart here for this sun salutation. Bend the knees, inhale, chair pose. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale to your half lift, and this is where we're gonna exhale, bend the knees into a squatting position. So you can just enjoy the squat from here or bring your hands forward. And then we're gonna shift the weight forward. I'm gonna bringing more and more weight in, and maybe we bend at the elbows. We try to bring the knees towards the backs of the arms as we create that little shelf, but now we gotta draw the core in as we try to lift the feet up. And if you wanna try to float back, you can. Inhaling, otherwise making your way to plank as you step the feet back and take your vinyasa. And I should have tried to hold that float instead of collapsing into the floor, but sometimes we make it, sometimes we don't. Let's go ahead and inhale, right leg up and back as we go on with our breath. Exhale, right foot forward up in between the hands. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, warrior two. We're gonna stay here for the next inhale breath, and we're gonna exhale into extended side angle, coming in slowly. This way we can modify if we need to. So this is that Western alignment where we stay on the elbow, and then you can try to see if you can make your way down towards your palm on the floor or on a yoga block, or if you're at home, if a folded towel or blanket. And in the last stage is trying to get the hand to the outside actually of the foot without losing the core here, bringing this left hip on top of the right hip as we expand through the shoulder girdle here. For one more breath, let's go ahead and inhale up to our warrior two. But exhales, we drop the backhand down. Inhales, we lean into our warrior. Exhale, reverse our warrior. Stay here for the inhale, and exhale to release. And vinyasa. And we're gonna offer the body an opportunity to do that arm balance once again. So we're gonna inhale onto the balls of the feet. Exhales, we bend through the knees, walk or float the feet forward. Feet come up to meet the hands. We'll inhale to our half lift. Exhale to our forward fold, and coming into a squat. Once again, and I'm gonna actually widen my feet a little bit apart for a more comfortable squat. And bring the knees out just to start and take a nice relaxing position. We're gonna try again. So we can straighten out the legs as we create the shelf. Take the weight into the arms, slowly drawing in through the core as we lift one foot and then the other. And then you can extend the feet back to the floor and step back, or try to float back, inhaling and exhaling. And then we're coming into our second side. Inhale, left leg up and back. We're gonna exhale, left foot forward, up in between the hands, warrior one, first breath. Exhale, warrior two, second breath. Inhale here. We're gonna use our exhale to move into extended side angle. You can come right to the hand on the floor, or if we're taking it in stages here, to check in with our alignment, to see how we're doing, to see if we can take the bandhas with us. And then we'll come back up to warrior two, and we'll drop the back hand down. Inhale, exhale. Inhale here, and exhale to release. Windmill the arms down, optional vinyasa. And then we're gonna inhale forward into plank position, and we're gonna come into a forearm plank. And you can, of course, use the knees if you need to. And so we're holding our forearm plank, trying to manifest the awareness of that alignment we had throughout the class, tucking the tailbone under, firming that up through the engagement of the outer hips and glutes, drawing the lower belly, middle belly, and upper belly ribs and sternum in as we widen the shoulders apart, pushing them away from the spine for one more breath. And then we'll drop the knees down. We'll step the knees in, And we'll come into a brief little child's pose here. Bringing the forehead down towards the floor as the hands come back behind us. All right, let's go ahead and inhale to lift up, and exhale as we spiral the legs forward. And we're gonna do a boat pose on the way towards the floor to close off our sequence for today. So lengthening the spine, we can assist the core to find its awareness but through the arms by holding onto the back side of the thighs. And I'm gonna even set up my whole boat position while holding on to my legs so that I can really truly engage my belly and pull it in towards the spine. Trying to draw in through that Mula Bandha in the pelvic floor and the glutes and outer hips, Uddiyana Bandha in the belly, and then lengthening through the neck and head for Jalandhara Bandha as we inhale and exhale in and out through the nose. And now we're releasing towards the floor. Squeeze the glutes, let the arms come forward perhaps to balance you out. And then we can cleanse it out. Couple of sighs out the mouth. And then we'll go ahead and bend at the knees and release as we massage and release through the lower back. And we get to massage that lower back and release the core as we draw the knees in towards the chest here. And we're also getting a nice little gentle twist as we move all the way right and all the way left. And then before we come into our Shavasana, let's sneak in a happy baby. You can lift the feet up towards the ceiling and come into a nice gentle squat. And really try to lengthen through the neck and head. All right, and I'm gonna come back to stillness as I get ready to transition. And you can take any posture that you like, traditional Shavasana. I'm gonna bring the soles of the feet together and let the knees widen apart. And then for a little opening across the heart, I'm gonna extend my arms out to the sides with the palms facing up. But if you need the heat that we've built today to stay within, feel welcome to turn the palms down on the belly or on the heart. And any cleansing breaths that you like to help bring a little stillness now into the body. As we close the eyes and draw the gaze within. And you can stay here for as long as you need to. And many blessings to you as you journey on. Namaste.